If there was ever a planet that mirrored Earth, what turned it into a living hell? Venus, our twin sister, hides beneath thick acid clouds, where sunlight fades and secrets smolder. Beneath that glowing mask lies not a dead world, but a restless body, still breathing, still shifting, still burning with silent fury. Ancient volcanoes, fractured land, signs that Venus never truly went quiet. If Earth walks the same path, are we ready? What do you think turned paradise into a place no life can survive? In the vast silence of space, a planet waits, like a forgotten puzzle piece, lying still, as if it knows something about our future. The journey to touch that silence began in the 1970s, when the Soviet Union launched the daring Venera program, sending the first man-made machines into the inferno called Venus. In 1975, Venera 9 and 10 touched down, crushed by pressure, 90 times that of Earth, scorched by heat strong enough to melt lead. They survived for just minutes, but that was enough. In their dying breath, they sent back the first black and white photos from the surface of Venus. A dead land, silent, yet echoing like a memory from a world that once knew life. Can you imagine? Seeing a place where no human will ever walk? A world that resists both light and truth. And if Venus is the future, could Earth be quietly writing that same tragedy into its own story? Six years later, another door quietly opened. In 1982, the Soviet probes Venera 13 and 14 touched down. And for the first time in history, humanity saw the true colors of hell. An orange sky burned above, casting its glow on brown rocks and scorched red soil. The land was cracked, broken, scattered with flat slabs, eerily familiar, disturbingly Earth-like. They lasted only about an hour before surrendering to the crushing heat and pressure. But that hour proved something unthinkable. We could land and see. Their cameras broke through the veil, capturing what had only lived in theory. And for the first time, we stared into the eyes of a world that never wanted to be seen. If the first black and white images were memories, then Venera's colors were proof that life and death sometimes exist just a cloud apart. What do you think when a dead world looks so much like our own? Is Earth staring back through that same mirror? While Venera's images lingered like a faded dream, in 1990 humanity chose not just to look, but to see through. NASA's Magellan didn't land, but it achieved something no one had before, piercing Venus's acid-thick clouds using radar. Over 4 years, it mapped 98% of the planet's surface using radio waves. And what emerged was a world far from silent. Towering volcanoes, vast plains of solidified basalt, deep winding valleys, and twisted highlands known as tesserae. Venus was no longer just dead rock. It was a frozen fury. And what truly shook scientists were clues that volcanic activity might still be ongoing. Shifts in sulfur dioxide levels whispered from the atmosphere, as if something deep beneath was still breathing. What do you think? If behind that curtain of clouds, the planet still lives, then maybe what stirs isn't just fire, but the memory of a world once ablaze. Magellan didn't just redraw the surface, it redefined how we see. Because with Venus's eternal cloud cover, visible light became useless. No camera could truly see, So scientists learned to listen instead of look. Radar, waves in the radio-microwave spectrum, became the light within darkness. These waves cut through the acid clouds, struck the dry stone below, then echoed back, carrying secrets of shape, height, and reflectivity. When processed, they became astonishingly detailed images, even when the world below was lost in absolute night. In the 1980s, the Soviets first used this method with Venera 15 and 16, mapping a quarter of Venus's northern hemisphere. But it was Magellan that reimagined the entire technique and made us truly see a planet long forgotten. What do you think? When light fails and only waves remain, is that the only path left to reach the truth? The entire planet, once just a pale, featureless sphere, was suddenly stripped bare. Radar didn't just see, it felt the very texture of Venus. Circular coronae, scars from magma rising through the crust, long lava channels stretched like frozen veins, rugged mountain ridges, and ancient impact craters, all revealed through invisible waves. But this was more than imagery. Scientists built 3D topographic maps, even estimated roughness and material composition. For example, the intense radar echoes from mountaintops suggest metal-rich frost, clinging like a cold golden dust on Venus's peaks. Radar became the key to unlocking Venus's true face, transforming it from a bland white ball into a vivid world of mountains, valleys, and fire. What did you once think of Venus? A forgotten planet? Or a secret, simply waiting to be seen? If your heart skipped a beat for the mysteries of space, drop a heart and subscribe. The journey has only just begun. As we've seen, Venus's thick atmosphere is nearly opaque to visible light. But there are narrow cracks in the near-infrared spectrum, where carbon dioxide and acid clouds absorb far less. And through these narrow windows of light, spacecraft have found ways to see in the dark. From 2006 to 2014, ESA's Venus Express carried a device called Veritas, the visible and infrared thermal imaging spectrometer. It observed wavelengths around 1 micron, enough to pierce through Venus's lower atmosphere, especially from the planet's night side. There, Veritas detected the faint glow of hot surface rocks, as if the ground itself was exhaling through the darkness. By measuring thermal infrared brightness, scientists gathered insights into the surface's temperature and composition. A subtle, silent, but powerful way to see. Have you ever wondered if deep in that silent night, the rocks are still burning with memories that refuse to die? But seeing wasn't the end. Venus Express went further. Using infrared emissivity maps, it detected unusual hotspots on volcanoes like Mat Mons. These spots had unique spectral signatures, indicating lava flows that were still fresh, untouched by time. In 2010, a study based on Veritas data reached a stunning conclusion. Some of these flows might be just a few thousand years old, practically yesterday in geological terms. This became the strongest evidence yet that Venus was still breathing fire beneath its shell. Then, in 2023, that evidence became undeniable. When researchers reanalyzed Magellan's 30-year-old radar images, they discovered an actual volcanic eruption. A crack, a shift, a subtle transformation, but loud enough to say, Venus is not done yet. When a world that seemed silent for eons suddenly speaks in molten fire, are we truly listening? From Magellan's radar snapshots Taken in the early 1990s, researchers noticed something strange. The volcanic vent on Mat Mons had visibly changed. It had expanded, reshaped, as if an eruption and lava flow had occurred between mapping passes. This, before and after radar comparison, became the clearest proof yet that Venus isn't silent. The implications are profound. If volcanoes are still active, they could be quietly releasing gases into the atmosphere. Even today, this might explain the long-standing mystery of fluctuating sulfur dioxide levels. Moreover, Venus Express and other orbiters used infrared and radio techniques to measure temperature and atmospheric chemistry at different altitudes. Even without direct vision, the planet is speaking. The question is, are we truly listening? One of the most shocking discoveries came from a mission that had nothing to do with Venus. NASA's Parker Solar Probe, built to dive into the sun's fury, was never meant to observe the planet veiled in acid clouds. And yet, during one of its high-speed flybys past Venus, something no one expected happened. Scientists turned its camera, Whisper Imager, toward the planet's impenetrable atmosphere, where visible light was thought to vanish without trace. What it captured stunned the scientific world. The first ever visible light images of Venus's surface, taken not by a Venus mission, but by a sun probe. A planet long considered permanently blind had finally revealed its face, through a lens that wasn't even looking for it. Ironically, while dedicated Venus missions remain grounded, it was the sun chaser that became the first to truly see hell. What does that tell us? That sometimes our greatest discoveries come from the places we never meant to look. From space, Parker's solar probe didn't just look at Venus, it looked into its night. Usually hidden by thick clouds, Venus's surface revealed itself in whispers of heat. Using sensors sensitive to near and far infrared, Parker detected faint thermal emissions leaking through the clouds from the scorching land below. The images showed subtle bright and dark patches, highlands, plains, and forgotten plateaus, like geological scars only visible in shadow. This achievement was astonishing because Parker's camera wasn't built for Venus. Yet under the right-wrong conditions, it became the first to pierce the veil. At the same time, ESA's BepiColombo and the joint ESA-NASA solar orbiter made flybys of Venus, not as a destination, but as a detour en route to Mercury and the Sun. And yet, these accidental glimpses brought back insights more valuable than years of dedicated watching. So what does that tell us? That perhaps the greatest secrets aren't waiting where we look, but where we pass by without meaning to stop. In October 2020, BepiColombo, a joint mission between Europe and Japan, passed quietly by Venus. It wasn't built for the planet, but what it captured stunned the scientific world. With only small monitoring cameras, it recorded haunting black and white images of the cloud-wrapped sphere. But that was just the beginning. During follow-up flybys in 2020 and 2021, BepiColombo's sensors measured Venus's magnetic field, plasma environment, and even caught oxygen and carbon atoms escaping from the upper atmosphere. This wasn't theory. It was direct evidence that Venus is still, slowly, losing its air. We had caught a planet in the act of erasing itself. Solar wind stripping, once a hypothesis, is now confirmed as the force that dried out Venus, robbed it of water, and perhaps erased its shot at life. BepiColombo didn't just observe a planet. It witnessed a world exhaling its past. What do you think? What truly turned a living world into a furnace of death? And if it's already starting here on Earth, Would we even see it coming? Capturing Venus in the act of losing its atmosphere was a vital clue in understanding how it transformed. From a world that may once have been rich in water, into the scorched greenhouse we see today. And it didn't happen alone. In December 2020, and again in August 2021, the solar orbiter, built to study the Sun, passed by Venus. While its main cameras remained focused on the Sun, its silent sensors turned toward Venus's night side. There, it recorded high-speed plasma and magnetic field measurements. Since Venus lacks an internal magnetic field, these flybys offered rare insights into its induced magnetosphere, a fragile shield built from solar wind itself. The orbiter also captured Venus's magnetotail, a stream of ionized gas stretching behind the planet like a shadow caught in motion. Each pass revealed more about how Venus slowly erodes under solar radiation. Have you ever wondered, when a world loses the ability to protect itself, how long before it disappears entirely? After countless attempts and failures, Akatsuki finally slipped into Venus's orbit, equipped with a suite of extraordinary cameras, from ultraviolet to infrared. It didn't merely observe, it watched a dying world breathe. Its ultraviolet imager traced high-altitude clouds, while the infrared lenses dove deeper, sensing the warmth of the lower atmosphere and even surface heat from the cold nightside. Akatsuki became Venus's silent skykeeper, monitoring its weather, swirling winds, and flowing clouds. Every passing second, a new frame of a planetary documentary. And then, something strange appeared. Shortly after orbital insertion, Akatsuki detected an enormous bow-shaped cloud, stationary, stretching nearly pole to pole across Aphrodite Terra. It didn't move like other clouds. It stood still, like a scar pressed into the chaos. Do you think it's just cloud, or a hidden signal from deep within? If Earth ever showed signs like this, would we even recognize them in time? If your heart skipped a beat for the mysteries of space, drop a heart and subscribe. The journey has only just begun. In the thick darkness blanketing Venus, something whispers from within the suffocating clouds. In 2015, Japan's Akatsuki spacecraft finally caught up with the planet's bizarre rhythm, unlocking the secrets of a world wrapped in atmospheric chaos. With cameras spanning ultraviolet to infrared, Akatsuki became the first to monitor Venus's weather in real time, like watching a twisted version of Earth behind a poisoned veil. Soon after entering orbit, it spotted a massive bow-shaped cloud structure, motionless yet colossal, stretching pole to pole like a wrinkle frozen in boiling skies. This wasn't a gravitational wave from space, but an atmospheric gravity wave, born from air crashing into Venus's mountainous terrain. It was as if the surface itself was whispering into the sky. Even more shocking, Akatsuki discovered high-altitude jet stream winds so strong they spin the entire atmosphere around the planet in just 4 days. All while the planet itself takes 243 days to complete one rotation. A world nearly frozen in place, with an atmosphere spinning like madness. And here comes the haunting question. If Earth ever stopped spinning, would our skies too become a never-ending storm, just like Venus? Multispectral imaging didn't just help us build a 3D map of Venus's atmosphere. It revealed how temperature and cloud composition shift with altitude, like layers of a chaotic alien sky unraveling over time. Through years of observation, Akatsuki has uncovered meteorological mysteries long hidden beneath Venus's thick veil. But what's truly astonishing is how we uncovered them. Each segment of the electromagnetic spectrum reveals a different mask of this haunted planet. Under ultraviolet light, Venus's cloud tops show strange swirling forms, bright and dark streaks dancing across its skies. Most famously, a massive Y-shaped shadow drifts near the equator, driven by some unknown substance in the clouds that absorbs UV light like nothing we've seen before. What is this invisible chemical? Could it be the missing link in the chain of reactions that doomed Venus? What's your theory? Could this ghost molecule hold the answer to Venus's downfall? Drop your thoughts below. Thanks to multispectral imaging, scientists have created a 3D map of Venus's atmosphere over time, revealing how temperature and cloud composition shift with altitude, like a living system breathing beneath layers of dense, choking haze. But how did humanity manage to uncover such hidden layers? The answer lies within the electromagnetic spectrum, each wavelength acting as a secret key to a new layer of Venusian mystery. In ultraviolet light, the cloud tops reveal strange, drifting patterns. Most notably, a giant Y-shaped feature circling the equator, driven by an unknown chemical absorber. Can you guess what might be hiding behind that ghostly cloud? In the near-infrared range, Venus's night side glows faintly, exposing heat escaping from deep within, like a faint heartbeat pulsing in the dark. Hotspots, emissivity changes, all are silent evidence that Venus may not be as dead as we once believed. If a planet still breathes heat from beneath its ashen clouds, can we really say its fire has gone out? When visible light failed to pierce the dense veil of Venus's clouds, scientists turned to something far more powerful, a vision beyond human eyes. Akatsuki's long-wave infrared camera became humanity's eyes in Venus's eternal night. It didn't just take images, it painted heat maps, revealing swirling atmospheric waves, massive wind systems, and hidden circulation patterns that danced across the skies like invisible giants. But the clouds were only part of the story. What truly shocked scientists was what lay beneath the surface. With microwave and radar waves, soundless frequencies that cut through the cloud barrier, scientists uncovered a Venus we'd never seen before. Not a blank white sphere, but a world of cracked mountains, collapsed ridges, ancient lava flows, and scarred geology, telling stories written in rock over millions of years. And the future? The next generation of missions will carry ground-penetrating radar, capable of scanning hundreds of meters below the surface. Imagine what secrets lie buried under Venus's crust. What if we find evidence of an ancient civilization, wiped out by the very hellish transformation we see today? This isn't just science, it's prophecy unfolding, and we are standing on the edge. Are we ready for what Venus is about to reveal? After decades of silence, Venus is calling us back. A new era of exploration is rising, this time armed with the most advanced imaging systems ever sent to the stars. We're not just returning to Venus, we're going to descend into its heart. NASA has greenlit 2 bold missions, Vinci and Veritas, each one designed to crack open the secrets that have eluded scientists for generations. Meanwhile, Europe is preparing its answer, the EnVision mission, a cutting-edge project scheduled for the early 2030s. Each of these explorers will dive into the unknown, equipped not just with instruments, but with the accumulated wisdom of every mission that came before. But let's talk about the most daring of them all. Vinci, short for Deep Atmosphere Venus, investigation of noble gases, chemistry, and imaging, is not just a flyby. It's a descent into the inferno. Around 2031, Da Vinci's carrier spacecraft will release a descent probe, an armored capsule designed to survive the crushing pressures and scorching heat. And as it falls, it will breathe in the atmosphere, sniff every molecule, and send back real-time data as it plunges through clouds of sulfuric acid toward a world where no human machine has ever landed intact. What ancient chemistry waits beneath that toxic sky? Could clues to Venus's lost oceans or its explosive past be hidden in those swirling gases? This isn't just exploration, It's a confrontation with the unknown. Would you ride that descent capsule into the most hellish place in the solar system? A silent object pierces through the toxic clouds of a dead planet. It's falling toward a place no one has ever survived. No one has clearly seen the surface of Venus in almost 40 years. And now, an artificial eye is approaching, the place where time itself is buried. The Da Vinci mission isn't just a survey. It's a final attempt to decode why a world that may once have lived turned into a place where nothing can. As the probe drops deep through the thick, blinding clouds, a forgotten world begins to emerge. The Sahara highlands appear, jagged, broken, like the fossilized backbone of an ancient planet. The fractured blocks and ruptured ridges seem like curses carved into Venus's skin. Perhaps this is where its earliest and final memories are held. Da Vinci isn't just observing, it's listening, it's sensing. And in its short, one-way journey, it will do what no mission has done since the 1970s. It will capture. It will sample. It will transmit the final whispers of this planet before being swallowed. Pressure increasing. Radiation rising. Nearing surface. Last image being recorded. The deep voice of the onboard AI echoes like a soul recording the final journal entry for a planet that might once have been a home. What do you think? If Venus once had water, had rare minerals, had a climate as gentle as Earth's spring? What if, at some point in time, life almost took hold here and was then erased? If you knew Earth could become Venus, what would you do differently? But wait, something more unexpected is just beginning. If those rocks truly contain evidence of water, if they tell the story of a planet that once embraced Earth-like warmth, then what killed it? We are not just exploring Venus. We may be witnessing the future of our own world. Were you ready for what comes next? There's an eye about to open, and when it does, Venus will no longer be a mystery. While Da Vinci dives toward the surface, another spacecraft, Veritas, will be launched into orbit. But instead of falling, Veritas will circle, enveloping the entire planet with an artificial gaze that can pierce clouds, pierce stone, pierce time. It doesn't use a normal camera, but a state-of-the-art synthetic aperture radar, technology that once helped us see the moon, now turning its focus to a world even less understood than Mars. Veritas won't just scan the surface. It will reconstruct 3D topographic maps of almost the entire planet. Every mountain ridge, every fault line, every ancient lava flow, revealed with precision down to just 15 meters, where older systems like Magellan only saw blurred outlines at 100 meters. Now, even the smallest scar will be exposed. INSAR, interferometric synthetic aperture radar, will act like a sixth sense, turning the entire planet into a living map. What would you think if we could detect the first cracks of a collapsing world? Or read the story of an ancient eruption from nothing but a ripple on the surface? But then, the most shocking revelations may not come from what we can see, but from what remains invisible. Subtle shifts, massive depressions, silent folds that might actually be signs of a tectonic system at rest. What if Venus isn't dead, just sleeping? We're about to witness a planet like never before, not through our eyes, but through intelligence. And if Earth once had a twin, Veritas will be the one to trace every line of its surviving face. Are you ready to see the truth? If your heart skipped a beat for the mysteries of space, drop a heart and subscribe. The journey has only just begun. Veritas won't just see. It will feel the planet's quiet, hidden movements beneath its lifeless crust. Tiny changes in the surface, subtle swelling, gentle shifts, could be signals of a world that still breathes. If volcanoes are stirring, if fault lines are sliding, then maybe Venus isn't dead. just restless. One of Veritas's key missions is to find out whether Venus still has active geology, like plate tectonics or volcanic eruptions, by tracking surface changes and counting fresh volcanic structures. But it doesn't stop with radar. Veritas also carries a thermal sense, an infrared spectrometer that will map the heat signature of every rock it sees. Each type of rock, basalt, granite, and more, emits heat differently at night. And as darkness falls on Venus, Veritas will scan for strange glows in the cold, for spots where the ground may be warmer than it should be, where lava might still be flowing beneath the silence. What if, just below those cracked ancient plains, a massive engine is still turning? And if Venus once resembled Earth, maybe it once harbored life too, and that life fled when the world began to burn? The answer might be waiting in the dark. Veritas won't just watch the rocks. It will listen to the air above them. By detecting unusual plumes, spikes in water vapor, or volcanic gases, it may reveal hidden activity no camera could ever see. With sharper eyes and new senses, Veritas will upgrade everything we thought we knew from past missions, and finally confront the questions we've only guessed at for decades. Is Venus's crust frozen, or is it churning from within? Without Earth-like plate tectonics, how does it release its heat? But this isn't a solo mission. Veritas and Da Vinci work together, one eye close up, the other panoramic. As Da Vinci descends into Tacheri to capture each crack and ridge, Veritas will show us how vast that formation truly is, how high it rises, and whether similar regions exist elsewhere, places shaped by water long ago, or touched by something still alive. Maybe at last, we're about to see the full picture of Venus. After Da Vinci and Veritas complete their missions, another name will enter the cosmic stage, carrying the hope of connecting every piece left behind. That name is EnVision, the European Space Agency's orbiter, set to arrive at Venus in the 2030s. Not diving deep, not merely passing by. EnVision seeks to see the planet as one unified ecosystem, from its innermost core to the highest layers of its atmosphere. Its greatest goal, to understand how geological activity and climate change are connected on Venus. To do that, it carries a powerful suite of instruments, including VINSAR, an S-band radar provided by NASA. VINSAR will not only deliver high-resolution images of targeted regions, it will also use polarimetric radar and precision altimetry to map topography and detect even the smallest changes, new lava flows, or silent landslides hidden in the dark. More importantly, with repeated imaging, EnVision can compare before and after, and track landscapes that are shifting. If Venus is still alive beneath the silence, EnVision will witness it. And if there's one final message left by this planet, it may be buried in EnVision's data. EnVision won't just look to the skies. It will listen deep into the forgotten heart of a planet long abandoned. Alongside the VINSAR radar, EnVision carries the VIN spec suite, operating in ultraviolet and infrared wavelengths. These instruments will search for volcanic gases, like sulfur dioxide, map the mineral composition of surface rocks, and measure their heat emission and reflectivity, with greater sensitivity than Veritas ever could. But what makes EnVision a turning point is something no Venus mission has ever carried before: a subsurface radar sounder. For the first time in history, we'll be able to hear what lies beneath Venus's skin, up to a mile deep. EnVision will peer into layers of stone, sediment, and eroded terrain to uncover underground channels, buried structures, or even the story etched in weathered rock. If the surface shows what has died, then below, maybe where memory still lives. We won't just see this planet anymore. For the first time, we'll truly listen to it from within. At last, EnVision will conduct a final experiment of silence. No sound. Only radio waves drifting through Venus's dense skies, measuring gravity, sketching its inner structure, listening to the heartbeat buried deep within the planet. Together with its full suite of instruments, EnVision will confront the most haunting questions we've asked for decades. Is Venus still geologically alive? Did past eruptions shape its climate? Or did climate change awaken the volcanoes? Did surface and atmosphere once dance in balance, long enough to form oceans, continents, life? Or was all of it erased? EnVision is not alone. It is the sum of a generation, built on Magellan, Venus Express, Akatsuki, on Vinci, and Veritas, all converging into a final search for truth. Today, we stand on the edge of finally understanding our sister planet, so similar in size, in birth. Yet one became a world of storms and silence, of acid skies and a furnace floor. And now, the question stretches far beyond Venus. Will these discoveries help us prevent a similar fate for Earth? Or maybe, just maybe, will they show us how to reverse it and turn Venus into Earth 2.0? If you want to continue discovering untold mysteries, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, because the next video might change the way you see the universe.